Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Friday Night Football Blitz. George Howanitz, John Mendola with you, and excited about another Friday night, week 9 of the high school football season. And George, some interesting scores out there that definitely we'll get to here momentarily. We got some great guests tonight and kind of a little bit of everything. But first, talk about your impressions on some of the games from tonight.
Well, I think most of the games stayed or held true to what we thought they'd be. I would assume most of the I'd say the teams that were the favorites pulled off wins tonight. Probably the biggest I guess mystery of the night would be Western Wayne losing to Mid Valley. I thought that was the biggest upset of the night. You and I had talked about this a little bit before, but I really thought Mid Valley would be would have their hands full Western Wayne, and Western Wayne would probably end the season undefeated going into the playoffs, but Mid Valley had some other ideas for them tonight. So probably the best game of the night, I would think, so far, as I'm looking through the scores.
Yeah, congratulations to Mid Valley and the job that they were able to do. And there's some other scores we're going to get to, but we're gonna start out with a bang here with Gino Lewis is going to join us right now live, and a little adjustment there. He was on camera there a second. Oh, here he comes, a good-looking guy there in Canada. I can't hear him yet. We'll work on that. Gino, can you hear us? A little bit. Looks like the signal could be a little unstable there. He looks good, but we'll try to get him back in here in a second.
The internet.
Yeah. That stinking internet wherever he's at looked like he's hanging out at a good place. So we'll try to hook him back up here. Let's see if this works. All right, Gino. There you go.
You hear me? Yeah.
You look good. You sound good. We're all set.
All right, we good.
Let's go.
So,
How y'all doing?
How we doing?
We're doing good.
Good.
We're glad you're doing well. Big fans here, Northeast PA, still looking at you, seeing what you're doing. You look fantastic, and playing some good football this year for yourself and putting up some great stats. What's it like playing in the Canadian Football League and doing what you're doing right now?
Yeah, man. First I just thank my Lord Jesus Christ always for the opportunity. I'm just glad, I was able to find a home in the CFL, able to, reach my full potentials, as a player, as a receiver, and just be able to give my all to something, man. Since high school, since I was in Little League and middle school and stuff like that, it's always been a dream of me to, play professional and, succeed at it. So, I always knew I had the capability in me. I appreciate a lot of the coaches that I had, coming up, and just the organizations that helped me, build me to be the person that I am today and the player.
Well, I'm gonna tell Naeem you got the Mr. T starter set on tonight for our interview. That's the first thing I'm gonna tell.
You tell Naeem that, man. Shout out to my boy Naeem, man. That's my.
All right, so listen. So you go from unbelievable high school player from our area. And John probably doesn't know. I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
You and Naeem went through Penn State together, so we had a lot of interaction with me and your parents and you and Naeem. So going from Penn State, then you go to Oklahoma. Make the jump to a big time. I'm not gonna say a jump, but it was at that time it was a big jump.
It was a jump, yeah. I would say it's a jump.
And now coming into the Canadian Football League, tell everybody kind of what the jumps are like going from the high school to Penn State to Oklahoma and then on to the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, so I would just the main jump for each level is definitely the speed. Like that's the main thing for each jump. Like from high school to college, guys are faster, guys are stronger. But as you keep getting up in the levels to the pros and stuff like that, it's more of a mental game. Like, because everybody's talented enough to be probably athletic. They at some point in time in their careers, whether it was college, high school, even then if they were in the NFL and came to the CFL, they probably had some success. But it's really about like going from high school, because I played quarterback also. Playing quarterback, had to adjust my mind to go back to play receiver. After playing quarterback the last 2 years, I kind of had to find my feet again at Penn State. Redshirting definitely helped me for sure. A couple coaches, staff that were different. Went through the sanctions and stuff. Really built me as a person, built me as a man. And then taking that jump to go to Oklahoma, it was like the mindset was different. When I got to Oklahoma, it was more so like when I was at Penn State, we were trying to stay 500. You know, we could have had in my first couple of years, we didn't have any bowl games. You know, scholarships went from 80 to 60. But when I got to Oklahoma, it was more so like, hey, we gonna win the Big 12. We're not worried about that. We gonna beat Texas. We gonna win the Big 12, and we're trying to get in the playoffs. So we're trying to go to the national championship. So it was kind of like the guys I was playing around Baker Mayfield and Joe Mixon and D.D. Westbrook, Mark Andrews, Orlando Brown, like playing with around those type of dudes, like it just changed your mindset of how you see competition in a sense. And we had a lot of competition at Penn State, but just going across the country in a different way for me, I think helped me be able to adjust to you know, going to Canada and, you know, playing with, instead of 11 guys, it's 12 guys. So, you know, the field is bigger and it's the game's a little different and it's 3 downs. So it's just being able to adjust. And I think I've been able to do that my whole career.
John, I don't know if you caught that, but Gino played at like legit Oklahoma. That's like a NFL All-Pro team that played at that college he played at.
Yes, we did.
That's why I said that jump when he jumped from Penn State to Oklahoma. I mean, Baker Mayfield was a quarterback there, and he just went through a whole All-Star team with what that Oklahoma team was like.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, man. We had a lot of unbelievable talent on that team, man. If we had, listen, we had one more year with that team, I could imagine what could have happened.
Listen, I have a better tie-in. His little brother was playing basketball with my daughters at the CYC, okay? So, yeah, we had some fun there with his dad coaching. I was coaching. We were both coaching together, so it was good times. But let's talk about your jump in Canada. You know, you go over to Edmonton now and what that's been like. You guys kind of had a little transformation and things are going more positively now, but you're still doing your thing, which is the big thing. And we just love seeing you score touchdowns and run reverses there and all the things you're doing.
Yeah, man, you know, like for me, you know, this was a big year for me coming off 2022 and having most outstanding player of the East and, you know, being nominated for the top 2 players in the league and, you know, becoming the highest non-paid quarterback in the league. You know, that's always been a big thing for me. I know the highest paid receiver ever was Rocket Ishmael. And I always tell people, like, listen, we went to the same high school. So you understand, like, what I'm trying to do, too. And, you know, for me, I'm very happy that, you know, I had an injury last year and it wasn't as bad as, you know, it was, but I know for the team wise, it was saving them some money and things like that. But I'm a real competitor. And I know anytime I get the opportunity or somebody puts me in position to help my team, like I'm going all out, like, you know what I mean? And I wanted to show and prove to players that you can be the highest non-paid quarterback and you can get your money, but you got to be consistent. It's always going to be pressure. They're always going to try to find ways to take some of your money, bring you down to see if your level of competition, to see if your game goes down and stuff like that. But for me, like I just was built on just keep going. Like I'm 31 years old, but I'm playing like I'm 27. I feel like so it's like that's how I'm playing. That's how I feel.
You know, I'm going to piggyback off that a little bit. This is always my question that I get a kick out of, and I talked to Naeem a little bit about this too. With this day and age, where all these college guys are getting paid,
yeah.
One, how much money would you have gotten paid to go from Penn State to Oklahoma? And 2, does it ever get you aggravated that you didn't get paid? You know, knowing what you guys were able to do.
Man, honestly, listen, I think about this sometimes because first off, the main thing I think about is when I went to Penn State, in the 2012 class, I was the #1 recruit. So that right there, and I stayed in Pennsylvania, hometown hero type of thing. You know what I'm saying? All that plays a part in it. But to be truthfully honest with you, I'm sometimes I look at it like, oh man, I wish I missed out on some of that money and stuff like that. But I also feel like I love the game more. Like I was still doing it to get to that next level. It wasn't like I'm in college and I got it now, and now I can take my time to get to the level to help my family. Like it was still more of an edge in me to keep going harder. But that jump from Penn State to Oklahoma, if I had an NIL deal and at that time I was like a top 3 transfer player. Yeah, man, we would have broke the bank. I might have broke the bank on them. We would be good. You know what I mean? But it's just that's how it be sometimes. And personally, I just think, you know, me being in the CFL and me having the opportunity is kind of making up for some of that in a sense.
Gino, we all have personalities, and you know, some of us a little more conservative than others. you get the big check, but then there's still things pulling, every which way. And let's talk about, being a pro and being able to handle and manage money and how challenging that is. Everybody's a little different. Talk about, again, I'm not getting too personal with you, but your story talk a little bit about what that's like to kind of make sure everything's kind of lined up going forward 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Absolutely. So for me personally, I never grew up with money. So I was always the type of person where once I got the money, I never want to lose it again. And I want to keep finding ways to keep building it, keep being successful, because I want to have generational wealth for my family. I'm still helping my family. I still help my family out today. Each day, I got 7 brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And I got 6 nieces and nephews and things like that. So for me, I got a lot of people that depend on me. You understand? And I don't ever if I have to work hard as I need to work and other people won't, I'm going to do that, because I just understand that this is also what God brought me on this earth for, is to help my family. So for me, I always really, since I was in college, I always had a sense of how to manage my money, because there was always times where I needed to make sure I had money for my family, or if something was going on, or if somebody needed something, or if my brothers and my sisters needed stuff. So like for me, I always was kind of really smart on money, and I used it in a sufficient way of always like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a couple trips myself. You know what? I'm gonna go do this and that, but I also know my priorities. It's all about priorities, and you have to understand and you have to know the people that's around you that's helping you make money and that's helping you lose money. You know what I mean? Because you can have 1,000 people around you and they love you and this and that. It's because you're doing it all for them. But how are those people also helping you to sustain this? You know what I mean? And you got to have the right people in your banks around you, the right accountants, to help you figure out, how do I keep making this money grow? How do I not just, just splurge it and just have all the fun, and then in 5-6 years it's all gone. You know what I mean? So for me, it's a lot of things that I still want to do. It's a lot of things that I still want to do within the valley of just coming back and making the valley money too. You know what I mean? So I'm still in the process and in the plan of things I want to do and stuff like that. But you got to be smart, man, because at any day that money can be gone, and then you got to figure it out.
Just tell everybody real quick where you're at, like right now in the season compared to like NFL or the college season or anything like that. Like where are you at with the Canadian League season?
Yeah,
Just
so
tell
actually
everybody
so we play a 20-game season. Our last game is next week. I had a bye week this week. Next week is our last home game on the 25th of October, and then the playoffs start the week after that. And then our Grey Cup, I think, is November 17th. So that's like our equivalent to the Super Bowl. We end a little early up here. It's actually in BC, and they have a dome, so they don't really have to worry about the weather this year, which is kind of good. But yeah, we always start a little earlier. We usually start training camp in May, start our first game in June. We're more throughout the summer, because in Canada, obviously, it gets super cold and it can be a hazard.
Staying healthy, man. You're doing it right now. You said, hey, I feel 27. You're still producing really well this year, especially later here in the season. But talk about, keeping that health and doing what you got to do. Are there any secrets or anything you're doing? A lot of stretching. I mean, other than lifting weights and doing all the other stuff, anything that has worked for you, a formula that has worked for you to stay on that field and be healthy? Because you've been blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, man, I just been consistent in what I do, like for myself. Like some things work for some people, some things don't work for some people. Like I said, I always just been a very, very natural dude. One thing that I realized that I do is I slowed the game down. Slowing the game down, like it really, after you play some years and you start understanding and you see a whole bunch of coverages and you see basically everything, and then you get through an era of DBs, and then you got new DBs that come in, and then you're like, okay, I'm at a whole nother level. It's like things that keep slowing down depending on how much you want to keep learning and how much you want to keep expanding your knowledge of the game. You know what I mean? So really, like, for me, it's just about the best attribute is your availability, like being available and being consistent. And that's the things that I've always tried to be, like, since high school. Like, I remember at one point in time, people used to be like, Geno Lee, he's still at Valley West. Like, when is he? Like, he's been there since for 1,000 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because when you keep doing the same things over and over, people like, they love it. Then they're like, okay, all right, when are you going to slow down? Like, so like for me, I'm in a sense of where like now I am 31, but I'm playing like I'm 27. So now teams are going to have to think about, how they're going to pay me, how they're going to do this and how they're going to do that. I just try to put it to where I'm not gonna make things easy for other people, but I'm gonna put myself in a position where I'm gonna be good either way. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's just all about, man, just I definitely do a lot of I do a lot of training. I go down to Florida for 2 to 3 months, usually in like February, March, April. I'm planning on buying a house down there actually this year, because that's somewhere where I always go every year, and I feel at my best when I train and everything like that. Palm trees, man, get to run on the beach, and stuff like that. So it gets you excited, and just being around other athletes, man, like young athletes that you like, all right, I gotta show these boys I still got it. Like, because these kids, listen, I'm not 21 years old where I could just jump out the bed, don't gotta stretch, and I can just go run 16 routes right now. Like, nah, I need about 10. Give me 10 minutes, give me about 10, 15. Let me get my good stretch in. Let me lock in, and then at the end of it all, man, it's just about it's about, do you want it more than the person in front of you? Like, that's all I know at the end. Like, you can do all the regiments, you can go vegan and do all this. At the end of the day, it's about, am I going to beat this person that's in front of me, and can my teammates and the people around me that believe in me and trust in me to do my job, am I going to do my job?
Buddy, we wish you the best of luck. We're so happy you came on. You look fantastic. You look like 17 and 18 again when you're playing for your 8th year in Wyoming Valley West. So you look good,
Yeah,
buddy.
man. Right.
You tell everybody we said hi, all right?
I will, for sure, man. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Good luck. Good luck with the playoffs too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we know you got a ton of fans here in northeastern Pennsylvania, as well as all over the country and Canada, for that matter, Gino. So keep up the great work. I know you're doing a lot with the community there, and all the best. We're rooting for you.
All right. Thank y'all so much, man. Appreciate it.
Okay. Gino Lewis here on the Friday Night Football Blitz. We'll be right back.
The Football Blitz is brought to you by the Maddock Agency. Since 1972, the Maddock Agency has been serving northeastern Pennsylvania for home, auto, and life. The Maddock Agency prides itself on being an independently owned agency. When you need help, you could talk with a staff member who lives and works right here in Northeast PA. The Maddock Agency has stayed true to its local, loyal roots. That's what our company was founded on more than 50 years ago. Call Dave Maddock and his team today. 570-586-3790. Use Savage Chiropractic. Takes pride in always doing a full evaluation on all patients, including x-rays, to evaluate patients to keep them safe and to determine the best care for their specific needs. Then they use modern techniques to get patients better, faster, and keep them feeling great with maintenance care options after they're pain-free. Along with chiropractic care, they are one of the only offices here in Northeast PA that offers both Class 4 cold laser to speed up the healing process, and massage therapy and bodywork to aid in muscle repair and rehabilitation. And Northeast Outdoor Services, a locally run and operated company who offers a wide range of services but specializes in all forms of hardscape, concrete work, along with fiberglass pools and spas. Check us out on Facebook or visit our website at northeastoutdoorservices.com. Northeast Outdoor Services.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Football Blitz, and we're going to move right along here. Steve Jervis, he's patiently waiting, and then we come on. He's like running over, trying to get
Taking a snack,
a drink, right, Coach?
Yeah, exactly.
Always swings here, right?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out all this tech stuff. I feel bad the last couple of times I was trying to hook up, but I'm glad I was able to get out with you guys tonight.
All right, we got a little scratchiness there. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll see how we do here on this. Just let's see. Seems like it could be Coach Jervis is in there, but I'm not sure. You got a loose cord or anything, Coach?
I'm not sure. Can you hear me okay now? I tried to.
It's a little bit of an in and out signal. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna punch you out, and then you're gonna try to punch back in on that link. We'll try it one more time, but just come right back in about 30 seconds. All right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, George. So we'll try to get Steve Jervis here in a moment, and then we'll talk with him. We still got Honesdale coach Paul Russick is going to be joining us shortly. A couple of players, and how about Gino Lewis? I mean, just what a fantastic story. He looks as healthy as I've ever seen him.
Yeah,
even when he was a teenager.
He's one of the nicest kids. Like I said, I got to know him really well because him and Naeem both went to Penn State at the same time. So all the recruiting visits and the game visits and everything, I spent a lot of time with him and his mom and his dad when we were on all those visits and things. But and he's always very excitable, upbeat. He has that infectious attitude that you kind of want to be around him, and you want to root for him, and you want him to do well, and you want him as a teammate. And he's obviously that hasn't changed. So
no, not at all. So we'll try this one more time with Coach Jervis. And again, we get it. The technology thing, not for all of us. Coach, let's see if that audio's a hair better.
Hey, John. Thanks a lot for having me on. Is that any better?
That is better. Yeah, I think. Listen, and you live out in the sticks. It ain't easy, right?
That's right. Wouldn't have it any other way, though.
Well, you're doing great things, quote unquote, out there in the sticks at Lackawanna Trail. What a fantastic job you've done with that program. Your other son was a quarterback. You got another son here who's a quarterback. So that's always nice. But there's just so many players. And you guys got a nice facility built out there. Let's talk about these Lions at Lackawanna Trail. And, you guys will play tomorrow. Just talk about the success that this program has had and what you've built there.
Well, first of all, John, I kind of thank my lucky stars that I can, teach and coach, at a place like Lackawanna Trail. A lot of great families, just great people. It's funny, there's no real center town. Like so many of our schools kind of have, one town. It's actually 4 boroughs, between Factoryville and Nicholson, Dalton, Fleetville, and, but for a small little, mostly rural area, it's amazing the amount of athletes that, have been fortunate enough. And not only myself, I think, you go back and look at the history of Lackawanna Trail football, it's been good. I think they started in 1957, and through all the different coaches and different years, different, there's been a lot of good football teams over the years. So I'm just trying to carry on that tradition. We are very, very appreciative of our new facility. There's a weight room in there, a locker room, and, and it's a wonderful situation. It's kind of, it's obviously welcome. All us do this, but I know obviously, we definitely reap the benefits of that, and I know our kids appreciate it very, very much. It's by any means, but yeah, it's been crazy trail, but I'm really, really happy that it's kind of where I landed.
Steve, I don't know if you can you hear us or not still? You're good?
Getting a little freeze in his signal, but go ahead, George. Give him a shot. I think it's in and out a little bit, but I think he can hear us.
Steve, I know you have Holy Cross tomorrow. Then you end your season with Riverside, which will be a game to win your division. Just tell everybody about what that's like these last 2 weeks, really playing almost playoff football for these last 2 weeks of the season.
Well, I think we did get frozen up there.
Steve, can you hear us?
All right, I think we lost Coach there, lost the signal. It's tough out there, getting that signal. We got some other stuff coming up here on the Friday Night Football Blitz. George, let's just talk about it. I know Steve's not here, can't hear us right now, but he credits coaches before him. I think it was Ronke and then Wasilchak and himself. But boy, he just kind of really put a nice shot in the arm there at Lackawanna Trail with the kids, and his spin on things coming from Tunkhannock over to Lackawanna Trail. Wasn't having success there, but ended up with the success over at Lackawanna Trail.
Well, I think it's I'm not knocking Steve at all, but I'm gonna credit Jeff Wasilchak with really putting that he really put the football program on the map there as far as all the district championships and all those victories when he had Yogi Roth, and he had that stretch of like Yogi Roth, John Glenn, the Jacksons. They had a really good set of guys going there, and then Steve comes in and puts his touch on his wing tee and some of those things, and it's really taken off. They have a nice, I think, and Steve would probably agree with this. I don't know if you can